What's up, fellas? Sorry it took so long to do this video, but single daddy gets a little busy. I'm gonna try to keep it short, but it might be long, okay? So I want to just give you some good history on dynamic spinners, how we got started, and everybody who was in the crew. We didn't last a long time, not many years. I'd say maybe about 5 years that we were like really in the mix of dancing and playing music. But it was back in 1973 when I first started hearing about rock and all that and the music. Later on, a few years later, maybe like a year or 2 years, year and a half later, I used to live on Troutman Street between Wilson and Knickerbocker, and we went, everybody that lived on that block, like Eddie Puma, Manny, Diana, Ozzy Ramos, Ray 3, Benji, a bunch of us. We used to play baseballs, and we had a team. So we went to play football in the street against these guys on Jefferson Street, which was one street over and one street up between Central and Wilson on Jefferson. So we went to play them, and we played, and they beat us. But after playing them, we kind of became friends. So not all of us, but I started going over there to their area and hanging out with them, and started to become closer friends. They saw that I was into the rocking and stuff, so they started, we started getting down together, you know, just as friends hanging out. And but Jefferson Street was a spot where we used to hang out. It was in Ray and Terry's house, which was like our home base. Okay. As far as dynamic spinners, right? Our original crew was me, Vincent, Ray, Eric, Jamie, Sal, JR, and Tom. We used to call him Tom Bomb. Glasses. He's in one of the pictures where they got the DS t-shirt on the wall. He started hanging out with us. He kind of became a member, but he was more into doing other things, but he was always with us. So he was like an honorary member, but he wasn't the member like we were. So we used to hang out in this club called The Joint. The Joint was closer to us in Brooklyn, in Bushwick. Bushwick was like 3 sections. Knickerbocker Avenue was long. It was like 3 sections. And we lived on the end, I want to say on maybe the east side of it. Everything at the other end was where Linden Park, Bushwick High School. That's where Little Dave and a bunch of other good rockers came from. That side of Bushwick was like 2 separate sides. Then right in the middle is kind of like where later on in the 80s, Touch of Rock, some of Dynasty, and Incredible Rockers, a bunch of other crews were in the middle of that section. But DS was, like I said, there was like about 7, maybe 8 of us, main guys. And we used to go to this club called The Joint, and the DJ was Rican. Rican used to also play in basements and house parties. Man, he used to play some amazing classics. Like this joint right here, Get Ready, reminds me of him. He introduced us to a lot of rock music, you know, funk, soul, all that good stuff. So I got intrigued. I liked what he was doing. So he gave me my first little mixer. I went ahead and bought 2 turntables, not the 1200s, but the ones a little lower. got an amp and got some speakers. We made some speakers, and I started playing and started buying records and records and records and records. So I'm building up my crates, you know what I mean? All of my sounds, all of my stuff, all my club music, house music, rock music, you know, everything. I started practicing a lot every single day in my house, you know, so I took my equipment over to Terry and Ray's house, and that's where we always, like I said, that was our home base. We danced there, we practiced there, we drank beer, smoked weed, did all that stuff there. Then from there we should go hit the clubs later on in the night. We would go hit the clubs, you know, different clubs. The Garden, there was the Red Light, but we really didn't do the Red Light much. We had Cottons, we had Salsa, then later on became the Light Quarters, but the Joint was the main spot for rock. And if you didn't go there, and then you just wasn't around, because everybody who rocked back then went to the Joint. And this was before Cruise, before there was Cruise. So we decided to come up with a name for our DJ stuff, you know, and we came up with the name Touch of Class. There was some like brownish shirts with white letters, the original felt letters. Now, if you go on Grandmaster Clash on a website, you're able to get these letters now. You can download them and get them. He speaks a little bit about where those letters came from, but he says it in a way where I don't know if this is true, but they say that these letters came from a store on Knickerbocker Avenue in Brooklyn. Well, it is true. Those letters were first sold in a store called Cactus, a small clothing store. So this guy used to have one of those iron press. He had the letters, where he got them, I don't know. And he would, you know, print stuff up. So I went over there and I said, yo, can you make me a few shirts with a Touch of Class coming here? So he designed it for me, he set it up. I said, yeah, that's good, I like it. So we put it on there. I made shirts for everybody. Everybody paid for their own shirts. Right? After we did that, you know, we started playing. We got more speakers, a better amplifier, we got a little more power. So I was able to play in the parks. So I played in Linden Park. I played a lot in 111 High School. There's a park in the back. I played there a lot. A lot of things happened there, man. I mean, the history is so long, it'll take hours for me to tell you everything. But I'm going to do the best that I can. So again, our main guys, like I said, Vincent, Ray, Eric, JR, Sal, Jaime, Jamie, Glasses, and Tom Bum. We just became tight, man. We were friends, man. You know, as the rock started growing more into the streets, like it started getting popular, we used to always protect each other. We used to always back each other up, no matter what. A lot of the guys danced, but they weren't the ones to really get out there and battle. It was mostly me and Vincent and Jaime used to get down. But 9 out of 10, man, I was like that main guy that always danced. I was good, man. I don't care what people say. They can talk this. Some of them that talk they weren't even there, man. God is my witness, man. These guys who talk now, they were not around. They weren't. And that's something that bothers me, but I was good. I was badass, man. I loved it. I still love it, man, but it was like one of the best things for me, man. It was my way of life. It was it's hard to explain, man. You had to be there. So we used to DJ a lot. A lot of times we got into fights because rocking you wind up hitting each other, you get slapped for burns and stuff, and there was always fights used to break out all the time, man. And anytime, well, Touch of Rock at the beginning, Touch of Class. We were always there. But getting into later on, like 78, around there, 77, 78, that's when Touch of Rock made their crew, okay? We were Touch of Class. We were the very first ones to come out with shirts, to print them on here for that reason, for crew reason. You know, they were already putting all kind of names and stuff on shirts already, the store, you know, but none that had to do with crews. So we were the very first ones. That's a fact that goes down in history. I don't care what anybody says. We, Touch of Class, Dynamic Spinners, started the trend of shirts. Later on, Clash, Grandmaster Clash, he talks about how they got those letters and they started printing them. Rocksteady, Grandmaster Flash, orders started putting it on shirts. They were not the first. They were not the first. It came out of Brooklyn. It came out of Knickerbocker Avenue. He says it on his website, but he wasn't 100% on it. I'm confirming that it was there. And the store was El Cactus. Okay? And we were the first ones. And when we switched our name, because Touch of Rock put their name, so we didn't want to be sounding the same. So we said, you know what, let's just change it from Touch of Class and to Dynamic Spinners, okay? The word Spinners, I got it from the group, the Spinners, okay? They were a group back in the early 70s, and that's the part where I got. The word dynamic felt it was a big word. Dynamic explained everything to me. It was a way of being, right? If you were going to be good at something, you were dynamic at it. You were going to be dope and bad, you know? So that's how I got those two names together. Dynamic Spinners. And that was how it all started. So, again, it was just us, all right? We didn't go around recruiting people. We did not do Dynamic Spinner Juniors. We didn't do none of that. We went to playing music, DJing, collecting some classic songs, some good albums, and rocking whenever it was meant to do. You know, when it was time to rock, we rocked. I battled everybody in Brooklyn, man. When I first started, I heard their name, I went after them to battle them. I wanted to be one of the best, and I can tell you, I was one of the best. All right, and people were constantly coming at me. I would dance against guys 3, 4, 5 times because they just kept coming at me, man, because I was dope. All right, and I built a name for myself. All right, so we went ahead and changed the name to Dynamic Spinners. But by this time, we were older than all the guys from Dynasty and the guys from Touch of Rock and all the other crews that started growing later on. Right? We were already ahead of what was going on. All right, so it was like we did that already. We're moving to do something else. So a lot of the time that those guys battled each other and did whatever they did, we were not around. We were moving on to doing other things. All right, I was moving on. Okay, we kind of started moving a little bit on our separate ways. But before we did separate, I did my first contest, which was at the Starship Enterprise in New York. There was a contest there. First place was a cruise, a trip on a ship, and the trophy, big giant trophy. You see, I got a picture. I'm holding that big trophy. My partner was Sammy Lugo. Okay, we danced against the Latin Symbolics and those guys there. All right, the guys we beat. I'm not gonna mention their names, man, folks. We went ahead and Sammy and I, we took first place there. That was our first contest. Okay. After that, later on, we recruited DJ Gil. Gil was bad, playing and mixing music and stuff. So we made him a dynamic spinner. We asked him to join the crew. Now we had 2 DJs, 2 separate DJs, right? And my stuff had his stuff. Gil used to mix all my little songs, all my tracks, But when I competed, you know, we only had to make 2-minute tracks. The song, whether one song, cut it down to 2 minutes. So he would do all that for us. He was our mixer. Sammy Lugo and I, we bumped heads. We weren't meeting eye to eye. He thought he was better than me, blah, blah, blah. I said, you know what? Let's just move on. We continue to be friends, but not as close. That's when I started noticing JR moving and doing some dancing and stuff. And JR wasn't a dancer. He was down with the crew, but he wasn't a dancer. And I said, yo, man, do that again, man. And it's like, wow, man, I'm just doing what I see you do. I said, do it again. So I started seeing him move, man. And I saw, since I was the only one he watched, he was moving just like me. So when we started dancing, that's what I want to tell you guys. When y'all do routines, y'all got to dance exactly the same. Y'all got to think the same. Your mind's got to move the same. Your hands, your feet, everything's got to be 100%, man. So I started teaching him. And I taught him how to dance exactly like me, man. So we became like one. When we danced, man, we were like one. JR and I would hang out at 111 Park at night, and I brought pictures to the workshop in China when I was there 2 years ago. We used to sit in this park bench. Back then I used to smoke a little weed. So we would smoke and sit down and start thinking and talking about what we're going to do. We'll get the song, listen to the song, and that's what we used to practice at. Outside on concrete, and we would practice by ourselves there 2, 3, 4 times a week, all the time. Every time it got dark, we were there practicing. We would develop our routines and get them down. After we got them down, we would do it at Terry and Raymond's house. I would move the furniture around and we would practice. Sometimes we would do our routines blindfolded. We would dance and do our routine, and we would be on point. No mistakes, no nothing. We were doing the same thing. We wind up clapping each other's hands when it was necessary. Blindfolded. It's the truth, man. Honest truth. We should always want to be perfect. So, at this time, about 77, 78, around there, 79, is when a lot of the jams just were going on. Later on in St. Barbara's Church, St. Martin's Church, Crazy Rob was the one that used to throw all these jams, okay? And I used to do almost all of his flyers. We used to do the flyers, you know. Yo, next Saturday coming up, rock contest, blah, blah, blah. And I was the one who designed it because I went to art school. I was an art and advertising student. That was my major in college. So I used to do all his stuff, and I would sign him on the side, Papo, with my phone number. Now, I didn't do them all, but I did about 80% of all his flyers. So he's the one that used to do all the rock contests. And there weren't rock Apache lines. That never happened like that in Brooklyn. If there were Apache lines, it's because we set up that way. Okay? Dynamic spinners, we were set up, we would line up, and we would battle whoever was in front of us. You know what I mean? But it wasn't how contests happened. Contests at that point were routines, okay? So after I started dancing with Sam, I started dancing with JR. Me and JR used to enter all of these contests in Brooklyn. And I tell you, man, we used to win almost every single one, man. Trophies, cash money, whatever it was. We used to always win. But then they started getting tired of us, you know, watching us win all the time. But this is true stuff, man. We would go and everybody would write their names down. Make a, you know, if you're entering the contest, sign up. Everybody would sign up. I'm telling you, man. And Mike Clemente, he used to be a dynasty, can tell you. He has proven my story on Facebook. We would put our name. Later on in the night, as the night was going on, we would go back to look. Man, almost everybody would cross their names off. They would just not bother to get in because they already knew we were going to take it. Because we used to have outfits. I mean, our routines were on point. Our creativity was amazing. And I used to sometimes tell Mike, yo, Mike, get a partner, put your name down, join the contest just so there can be a contest. you know. But yeah, we used to get down, man. We went and competed in East New York and other places around Brooklyn. And we've won a lot of stuff. I mean, we've lost, you know, everybody loses, but we were the guys to beat, you know what I mean? And we set this style, man. This style that I do freestyle, it's nobody's, man. It's all my style, my way of dancing. I saw these Bronx guys that used to come to Brooklyn called Joey and Negro, and they had that freestyle like Papo does, you know, they used to do it, you know, a lot softer, just like Papo. You guys had Papo in China last year, and you know, so we should do his style, you know, all that movement like this, you know. But I just added more of a hop to it, more of a movement, more kicks, because my style of rocking was always hard. You know, I always danced rock hard. And so I took that style and made it harder and more uplifting and more of a bounce. And that, nobody was doing that in Brooklyn. Nobody was doing it in Bushwick. I brought the style into the neighborhood. Everybody started learning it. Everybody was watching it. So you see people doing routines, posting videos of their routines and stuff. Their routines could look dope, yeah. But if it wasn't for us, dynamic spinners, they wouldn't know the style. They wouldn't be that style, man, because I was a person of creativity. I was always thinking outside the box. You know, I was always trying to be more creative, you know. And also, another thing to say, like when the jerk came out later on, I learned how to jerk from this guy named Booby. This guy was a beast on his jerks. I never seen anybody hit jerks so hard, man. And I used to always try to emulate him and keep up with him, all right? And my jerk was strong. It was a foundation, man. And a lot of these rockers that came from Dynasty, Touch Your Rock, Incredible Rockers, I mean, I can't even tell you all the names of all the rockers. Man, a lot of stuff they did by watching me dance, man. You know, the original first Mastermind crew, they talk about it in a video. They say, yo, the best jerks I've ever seen were this white kid at St. Barbara's Church with a shirt on that said Touch a Class. He said this guy's jerks were amazing. He used to pop up in the air like almost jerking in the air. You know, he spoke about it. And he was talking about me. I look like a little white boy. But I'm not a white boy. But that's true facts, true history, man. You know, I was a big influence in this game. And people try to knock that down, they try to take that away from me, and they weren't even there. It's just pure selfish hate, man. And I don't hate on nobody, man. It's not who I am, man. I love this dance. I love what we've been doing with it. I'm so happy it grew, you know. The only props I give to Ralph is he pushed it and it went worldwide, and I thank him for that. I wouldn't believe that I would still be here with this, and it's because of him. But a lot of the other stuff, man, it's just not truth to it, you know. And I just gotta say that us dynamic spinners, man, we were a strong crew because we were close. We were like a family. That's all that mattered. We protected each other. We watched out for each other because things happen. When we went places, we went together. You know, we used to have this one car. We called it the Banana. It was yellow, like a Chevy, big car. We used to all crunch up in there, man, and go to events. There was times too that Touch a Rock they would throw events, but they won't let us in. So they said we would start trouble, we would start fights, but we wouldn't start fights. We would just get down, and we wouldn't, you know, we would just dance and battle. If you got in our face, we would get back into your face. You know what I'm saying? Right now, a lot of the guys, some of them are still on Facebook and stuff like that from Dynamic Spinners. Y'all can probably try to reach out to them. Ray Ramos. It wouldn't say Dynamic Spinners on his profile, but He's on there. Thomas Rivera. It's Tom Bum. He's still on there. He's in Texas. A lot of these guys that live in Texas learn from him. You know, they're like, oh my God, you know Tom? I said, yeah, me and Tom grew up together. So, originally, you know, I started the crew, the equipment and all that stuff I bought was mine. It got stolen one time. We went to a club to play and they broke in. They took all my equipment, all my records, everything I worked so hard to get. They stole it all, you know. And later on, we were able to replace everything, you know, putting money back in, buying new turntables, and we got it all back, and we kept playing for a while. But around the 80s that we were doing our freestyle routine, and Jer and I, we got out of Bushwick and we went into the city. And we started dancing out there. And we started dancing with the Latin Symbolics. Now they keep saying, you were not a Latin Symbolics. You know what? You were not there. You might have been a Latin Symbolic, but at the time that I got down with them, you were not around. Okay? They were not around. Alright? I might have not been like, said officially you are sworn in to be a Latin Symbolic, because they were not that of a big deal. But we danced with them, we did tons of shows with them. When we got introduced as Latin Symbolics, Papo and JR. So however it is, whatever people want to say is fine. But what I speak from my heart, I speak from the truth, and I speak it with God's knowing that I'm not lying about any of this. In 1985, I signed up for the military, to the Army Reserves. I went into the Army. Everybody started breaking out, breaking away. I did my Army Reserves. Back in '86, I was already discharged from my training for the military, and then after that, I was doing the weekend thing. But in 1986, I'm gonna be honest, I got caught up a little bit with drugs, cocaine. It messed me up a little bit, but I went in 1986, July 6, 1986. I got help. And went into a program. And from that time that I went to the program and I got out of the program till this day that I'm alive, which is over 40 years, I do not do no kind of drugs. I'm a stand-up guy, I'm a man of God, and I'm a father. And I raise my kids by myself, man, and I give them all I have, okay? I try to do right. And I'm telling you, you guys who are representing Dynamic Spinners, I get emotional because it means a lot to me, man. I thank you for repping, you know, and you're repping our honorable crew. We were good people. We didn't take no stuff from anybody. We had to fight, we fought, but we danced. And I love to dance. I wish I could dance better. I wish I was healthier. But I'm just thankful to God that I'm here, that I'm still able to dance, and I can still show some love to you guys, man. But I just want you to keep it going, keep it growing. And when I'm gone, I just live for the dance. For the first crew that ever came out of Bushwick, Dynamic Spinners. We were number one, man. Anybody can say what they want, you know. They can lie all they want. They can say they were a better crew. But honestly, when Dynasty and Touchy Rock and them came out, they were good crews. There were some badass rockers there. But that was later. That was in the 80s. There was a whole lot of rocking going on since 1970, 69, 70, 71, 72. There's a lot of people, a lot of good rockers that were not in crews. Just made names for themselves, you know? Some badasses, man. And I was one of those guys. I was one of those guys that was setting the trend in Bushwick. I was one of those guys that was creating styles, that was creating footwork, steps and moves and spins and drops, jerks. I was one of those guys, man, and that's the God honest truth. I want to thank everybody because we're growing. I I want to keep growing. And I just want to give shout out to Lil Key and Ocean, first members of Dynamic Spinners outside the United States. Yo, you guys are badass, man. You guys can be killers in routines, man. Yo, I'm proud of what you guys are doing, man. Keep rocking, man. Do it with love, man. When you do it with love, it comes out with flavor. It comes out with soul because you're doing it from your heart. You know what I'm saying? This goes for everybody. A shout out to Sam Rock, man, for reaching out and wanting to be done and represent. Thank you. Thank you. Keep rocking. Stigger Rock. Much love to you, man. We've been friends for a long time. Thank you for being part of this crew. I hope to meet you one day and that we can rock out together and that we can keep growing. Sorry I get emotional, man, but this is real to me, alright? This means a lot. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be in this world, many more years I have, and I struggle with pain and bodies, but I'm not stopping. I'm not going to stop. I'm going to keep rocking. I'm going to keep dancing. Big shout out to Asun. Thank you, bro, for all the videos that you've done for me, for what you did when I went to China for the workshop for Rock J Battle of the Gangs. Yo, you did a great job. I hope you keep doing that. Dropping videos. Grab everybody who's in Dynamic Spinners, man. Grab a little clip of everybody and do one big nice video of everybody getting down, man. That would be dope, man. You get some time, you do that, man. Peter, he's from TBB, man, but he wants to represent Dynamic Spinners on the rock side. Alright? So, Peter's from Mexico, man. He's a good brother. He came to my house. He helped me train when I was going to Russia to Battle Ralph. He stood here for 2 or 3 days and we danced. He showed me things to help me to be able to dance a little longer because I get short of breath, you know. But I also learned when I went to Russia that the air outside out there is a little thinner, I guess. And when I was dancing, I couldn't catch my breath. You know, I tried to get that second wind and it was so hard. I had a hard time with it. So it kept me from being able to dance better than what I did. I think I did okay, you know. I think I won. So, but I also want to give a shout out to Shabib. He's also from Mexico. He's a good friend of Peter. Yo, welcome to Dynamic Spinners. I also want everybody to stay in touch with each other, man. I'm going to tag everybody on this video so y'all can just make sure you're all linked together. Shabib, he does good. He dances great. He wants to learn. He's proud and happy to become and represent Dynamic Spinners. I'm going to Mexico in February for an event out there, so I'll get to meet him and I'll get to dance with a lot of people out there, and maybe we can get some new members. 7 White Jerk, yo, I do believe you won that last battle, Gang Wars, but Lil Key and Ocean said, man, that you're dope and that you're worthy of being a Dynamic Spinner. Thank you for being part of it, for repping. Thank you for showing me some love, man, when we message back and forth on Instagram. I honor your dedication, man, and I want you to grow and later on get new members. I need y'all to understand that Lil Key and Ocean are more of a president of Dynamic Spinners throughout all China. So I need all you guys to go through him.